all of my friends today. Hope you guys are having a good day and all that kind of fun stuff. Yay! All right, you guys. Today I'm in a collaboration with Miss Leah, Make All Things With Me. Make sure you check out her channel. Everything is getting shared over into a playlist. The playlist link is in my description, as well as Leah is tagged and her page is tagged up there in my description also. So make sure you check that out. We have a full day of fun stuff going on. Thank you. Hi, Miss Mary. There's Miss Mary from the Painted Peach. Guess what? Mary from the Painted Peach is up after me. So make sure you check her out. I'm going to go ahead and pull myself up on my laptop here real fast because I might be able to see whatever they're called, comments, a little bit easier because it'll be a little bit bigger. Anywho, there's my friend Corey. How are you doing, Miss Corey? Okay, so you guys, today what we're going to do is we are going to do a fun little project on this cutting board. It's still a little wet on this side. I went ahead and painted the back and the sides. I didn't feel like I needed to paint the front. I figured that we could get it dry and stuff. I'm usually a pretty quick crafter, so, but we'll find out, you know, right? So anyway, here we go. Live on the tube today. How fun is that? A lot different than what we normally do. A lot of us usually just do lives on Facebook. There are quite a few of us that do playlists over on YouTube, but those are all pre-recorded. So I know a couple of my friends go weekly live on YouTube. I have not started doing that yet. It's something that I need to start doing, but just have not. Personally, I'm really gearing towards liking the tube a little bit better than the other stuff, the Book of Faces, or, you know, Facebook. I'm just going to say it, you know. Anyway, so I am painting this board. Normally I do real funky backgrounds and stuff like that, and so I'm sure Mary and Corey are going, oh my gosh, she's painting something just plain white. Yes, I am. It's antique white. That it's white, right? There is our friend Leah. You guys, right there she is. If you don't subscribe to her channel, click on it, subscribe. I'm sure that you will find some stuff that you really like. Anybody that pops on here, you know, make sure you subscribe to their channel and all that kind of fun stuff. And the exciting thing over here that we like for our friends to do is to make sure you hit that thumbs up. You kind of got to jump out of the chat and hit the thumbs up for us, and then just say hi. You don't have to carry on a conversation if you don't feel like it, but just say hello to us. That means a lot over here. I just said that, just being funny, Leah. That's all. I just said it, just being funny. Anyway, just saying hello is a big help over here on YouTube and stuff like that. That tells them that people are watching and want to see more, right? Alrighty. So anyway, hey Tracy, how are you? There's my friend Cindy, I see her. There's Carolyn, yay! We've got quite a few little friends in here. Oh, it's just another way of saying Facebook. I think what it amounts to, Leah, is there are so many over on Facebook, there are so many rules about how you can't say things, you know, and so people come up with code words like, you know, sprinkle instead of share and all that kind of stuff. All the myths that are out there that you're not supposed to say things. So I think people say the Book of Faces. They say it a lot over on TikTok so that their videos don't get flagged because they're promoting another social platform. I think is where it came from. I'm on TikTok a lot, so that's probably where I got it from. All right, So anyway, we put this antique white on here. I absolutely love this antique white. I think it's, I like it. It's not such a stark white, you know. It's like a creamy beige. Da, da, da. Now this sign at one time had something else on it. It hung downstairs in our dining room, I think, for a little while. And I sanded it off. I was done looking at it and decided I was going to sand it off. So I did. And I'm going to paint it again. We're going to use this stencil right here. And I'm going to use the sunflower part. Okay. I know that Miss Sheila used sunflowers also just a few minutes ago on hers. So we must be in a sunflower, you know, zoning in on sunflowers together. But we're going to use those with that. And then this is the, I'm going to use this. Okay. What is this called? Rattan? Yes. This rattan as not really a background, but we're just going to kind of frame in down here a couple of rows of this rattan, I'm not sure. I am probably most definitely saying it wrong. Now what I'm going to do is I already had thought about this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up. Okay. I'm going to put this at the bottom, and I'm going to do this row, and I'm going to stop at that little divider there, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay this right here like this, okay? And then I'm going to take my tape. I don't know why I have to lay it down first, but I did. I'm going to take my tape, and I'm going to tape off where I want to stop. Now, I could do it the other way around, but I don't want the half of one of the circles on there. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's making sense, but it's making sense in my goofy head. Right? Okay, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use this part right up here. Okay, so I'm going to lay that on there, and what I'm looking at when I'm laying it on here is where I want it to end on the sides. When you're doing a pattern like this, you kind of have to decide, are you going to center it? Are you going to go right to the edge with some of the other pieces? You know, exactly how do you want to do it? The other thing that you have to look at is, like, this board is cut crooked. So this board is a little bit crooked, so I have to decide, do I want to make sure I'm lined up here and here or at the bottom? And I'm going to choose here, and I'm not going to worry about that the bottom's just a tish, not a lot, just a tish crooked. Now I'm going to slide it down because I want that bottom off the end of my stencil, or off the end of my board, if that makes sense. Okay, now since I have this taped, that is weird. It's almost like super crooked. That's craziness. Crazy, crazy. We're going to get it, because I need to stop worrying about it, because it doesn't really matter if it's a little bit crooked, because nobody will notice that but me. Okay, now I'm going to just kind of push down where those holes are with my tape, and that'll kind of hold it right there. Yes, we are zoning in together. Okay, so now I'm going to use this new paint that I have. It's called Salted Caramel. Isn't that delicious? I think I've had it for a minute. I forgot that I had it. Now, when I take off my plastic, I turn like I'm tightening. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, right? And as I'm turning, I'm just kind of pulling up. And then I can pull that off. I'm not using my teeth, you know, because our parents probably paid a little bit of money for them teeth, you know, when we had our braces when we were kids. So don't use your teeth. I'm going to pull me out a paper plate here and a paper towel real quick. Okay, so I'm going to grab my stencil brush right here, and I'm going to put a little bit of this paint. I need to make sure it's nice and shook up. Okay, it probably is. Yep, that looks good. Okay, now I'm going to put a lot of paint on my stencil brush. Then I'm going to kind of wipe it off, all right? Now I'm going to work at a circular motion on this thing here, on this paper plate here, and I'm going to get that paint up in my brush. Okay, I don't want it sitting on the bottom. I want it up in the brush, okay? Less is best when you're stenciling. Another good idea is to hit you a paper towel. Make sure you don't have a blob of paint. That's where you get your bleed through, is from having too much paint on your brush, using the wrong size brush, or, you know, not having your stencil flat. Now, some people do like to stipple with the makeup wipes or makeup wedges. That's great too. You do you on how you like to stencil. But the main thing is all the same. Less is best on the paint. Don't try to cover it all in one shot. You can always do multiple layers, and it'll be just perfect doing multiple layers, as it would be if you tried to do it all at one time. Now this paint is a little bit thin here, so I'm having to grab a little bit more than I normally do. And also when I'm stenciling, I don't worry about getting complete and full coverage. Doesn't bother me if it's a little bit light there. Okay, so right there we go. So now we have the rattan at the bottom. Just a couple little rows there. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to take my hairdryer first, and I'm going to dry. You guys, I need to move my block down there, my power strip, because every time I drop my, or lay this down, I hit the little red button and reset it. Insane. Only me, right? Okay, now I'm going to show you guys. I do have a little bit of, not bleed through, but I've got buildup of paint where the edge of the stencil was. That's going to be okay, because when we're done, we're going to sand it a little bit and those will come right off. You see those little spots there? It's not a big deal. You can also take a X-Acto knife and wipe them off if you wanted to. It's not a big deal. It's definitely not a big deal. Now here I'm going to go right up to this handle, okay? I'm not going to do the handle. Could, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stop right there. Even though that's going to be at a little half point, I don't mind. I don't mind. And if we get, you know, when we take the stencil off and we look at it, and we don't like the way it looks because we didn't go all the way up, then we'll fix it. But I plan to put some jute on there. So, and wrap it a little bit around there. So here we go. And again, it doesn't matter how you stencil, what you use to stencil with. You just need to make sure that you are cautious of the tape, or cautious of the amount of paint that you have on your brush. A lot of times too, I'll hit my stencil out here to the side before I go right in to a spot that is getting paint. That way, if, you know, I'm talking or I've got something, you know, I'm distracted in some way and I've got a big blob of paint on my brush, I'll see that when I touch the stencil in this spot back here rather than right where I am stenciling. Okay? Those are just a few little tidbits right there. Okay? So now, there we go. I think that looks cute. Very 1970s, right? Right up my alley. Just exactly what I love. Okay, so now we're going to put the sunflowers right here in this spot right here. This is what we're going to do. So what's nice about this stencil, this is a stencil set that comes together, is they stop right there where you can line them right up where they're in the jar. And it's pretty much exactly how, you know, if you were doing your flowers yourself, you would do them. There are other stencil sets that have like, where you'd have like a glass vase, and it brings these down some more. But I'm going to tell you this, if you decided that you wanted this vase to be clear and you wanted these to come down, just make them come down. It's not that big of a deal. You know, you could line this back up and just keep lining it up because the stem is not straight anyway, okay? And keep stenciling it if you wanted to as you go down, or you could just take a little brush and just have it follow it the rest of the way down. So anyway, but we're going to do the flowers first, and then we'll do our vase because I can't decide what color I want my vase to be. I'm trying to decide my placement here because here's the placement of the vase and the flowers. I think I'm going to slide it down. I think I'm going to leave it about right there. About like that. I think that looks good. My mind is telling me blue. That's what my head's telling me. What do you guys think? What color should we do our vase? You know, it doesn't have to be matchy match, you know, because you might not have a a yellow vase or whatever, you know. Okay, so let's get started on this. I want to do a little bit of blending and stuff on my sunflowers and things. So here's what I'm going to do. I have some new golden yellow. Because the only yellows I have left over, because I've been using all the paints up that I have, I actually had to go buy some yellow paint here. Again, it's got the sticky on it. Sometimes it doesn't work. If this is below the edge, where it's down in the crease, this does not work. But 99% of the time it does. But I will tell you this, what is a little bit easier is if you take it off. And you could take like an X-Acto knife, your scissors or whatever, and where that's sticking up, just kind of break it, and then it'll pull right off. Please don't use your teeth. Please don't use your teeth. I'll tell you what, I did that, you know, I had braces when I was a kid. I didn't have like a mouthful. I just had them kind of in the front and at the top. And I can remember one time, you know, teenage girls and their mothers having a little tiff, you know, and I'm going to get some that yellow out. I'm going to get some of this brown oxide out right here. I'm also going to get some of this orange out that is almost empty. It's persimmon, okay, so that we can do a little bit of mixing and matching on our sunflowers. That is almost gone. But anyway, being a smart aleck with my mom, and she used to like to say when she would get mad at me for mouthing off, she'd say, I'm gonna knock your teeth down your throat. You know what you say to a teenage girl because she's mouthing off. My mom was not mean in any way. I don't want to make that sound like she's mean or anything. And I turned around and said, well, you paid for them. Yeah, we all know how that ended up. Don't we? Don't do that. Don't say that. Don't say that to your mama. Oh, she was mad at me. She was mad at me. I don't remember what we were arguing about. I don't remember what was going on. I don't remember what happened after that. But I am sure it was not good. So, okay, so we've got some flakies happening here. Okay, so that's the yellow. See, it looks pretty good. But our sunflowers aren't always just yellow, all right? So, where that little flaky guy came from? He won't come off. Let's paint him down. Now I'm going to go in with my brown right here. And I'm just using the same brush because I'm lazy and don't want to have to wash a bunch of brushes. And I'm going to hit my insides here, center of my sunflowers. And I'm going to let it go up into the leaves. Okay? I'm not going to worry about the brown for the center part getting up on the leaves. Okay? I want to show you how much of a difference that made. See how big of a difference that made on those sunflowers? Letting that brown get up in there. Looks kind of cool like that, doesn't it? Okay, so now we're going to go in with this orange, this persimmons, okay? Now that salted caramel, was that what it's called? Would be a pretty color to add on here too. You never know, we may do that too. And I'm going to get my brush I'm gonna wipe the brown paint off of my finger, but I'm gonna get this brush super, super dry, okay? And now I'm gonna kind of go around the brown, just kind of up into the petals a little bit, hitting the brown and in the petals, okay? Just like that. And that's just gonna put a little bit of that orange up in there. And then what I like to do is I like to go around the tips of the sunflower petals, right around the tips. I feel like that just kind of pulls it all in together, okay? So, see how that looks? I like that. It just gives it a little bit of depth and a little bit of fun. You had a mouthful for 2 years. I think I had mine on for like 18 months or something like that. I didn't have them on for a real long time. But I mainly had them, we'll just talk about braces right now. I mainly had them in the front, on the top, because my eye teeth, both of my eye teeth were not coming down. They were like up in my gums sideways. They actually had to go in and uncover them and put a bracket on and pull them down. Sounds disgusting, but it wasn't that bad. But that's what the problem that I had. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little cardboard piece here because sometimes I get a little crazy when I'm stenciling and I don't want to get green on the flowers. Now, what do we say if we get green on the flowers? It's okay. It's not that deep. If you don't like it when you're done, sand it off, stencil something else on here. If you don't like it when you're done, paint over it. You know, it's just paint. It's not the end of the world if, you know, you get a little green paint in your yellow flower. You know, nature isn't perfect either, right? So don't make a big deal. Crafting is supposed to be fun. Stenciling, painting is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be like work. So let's keep doing the fun stuff. Okay, so look here. Look at our flowers. Aren't they pretty? Now I'm going to tell you a little secret here. I don't like how green those are. Imagine that. So I'm going to take a little bit of brown paint on this brush that we had over here. I'm going to get it really dry like we did the orange. Okay. Right there. And I'm just going to vaguely go over the green leaves. I don't want to turn my leaves brown. I don't want to, you know, make it fall already where everything's turning brown. I'm just barely touching it, okay? And look what that did to the leaves. It added a little dimension on the leaves too. I like that. I like that. Okay, so now I'm going to set that over there. Now we have to decide on what color we want our vase. Now look, I got some paint over here. I'm okay with all that, you guys. Okay, I wanted to show you how to fix like these little spots down here. Okay, this is very, very, very rough. You had fangs and a bite buckle. I was a thumb sucker too. I was a thumb sucker too. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of vaguely hit these. Now this is too small of a grip of sandpaper because it's going to take some of my paint off. But I'm all right with that, okay? And what that does is that's just taking those little top edges off where you stencil. I'm going to hit up here because what I do at the bottom, I like to do at the top when I've got a matching pattern like that. Okay, now I'm going to hit this right here where I got some of the little orange. I'm not going to make a big deal about it, but I'm just going to kind of hit that right there. Because what I could really do is just do this, and then it's all better. Right? Okay. So here's what we have so far. Now, what color of vase, you guys? What should we do for our vase right here? How do we decide? This is very 70s, I think, which is right up my alley. I'm gonna put that piece of tape there just to hold that down a little bit. So what are we thinking? I'm gonna hold on to those because you never know. Should we do my head is thinking blue. Blue is what keeps coming in my mind. And what I mean by blue is this color, like this turquoise blue. What do you guys think? Blue. There you go, Corey. That's just jumping out at me. Or we could drop to like a peacock. I think I like the peacock. The peacock is a little more of a dull blue, where this is kind of a bright blue. So I think I'm going to go with the peacock because I'm kind of going with a dull vibe here. Does that sound good, Corey? What do you think? Think that sounds pretty good? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my paint out here. Now, you guys, another thing that is helpful when you're stenciling is if your paint is a little thick. The thicker, the better. There we go. The thin paint causes, it can have, you know, it runs. So it could cause you to get a little bit of bleed through. So make sure your paint's as thick as you could possibly get it. If you have to use the thinner paints like the Deco Arts and the Apple Barrels and stuff like that to get the color that you want, just make sure you're really, really offloading, okay? I don't have any room. Kind of wipe that right there on my little plate there. So I'm just going to use my paper towel. I'm going to flip my paper towel around like this and to offload here. But see all that paint that was on there? Which I really don't need to do because I can start here in the center because that's where we need the most paint, right? And we can kind of offload on our project right there. Now when you use a stencil brush, it's going to have it might be a little bit of, have a little bit of lines where your brush is going on there. Gives it a little bit of a texture, I guess you could say. If you don't like that, you can always come, you know, go around your stencil like this, you know, and then come in with a paintbrush and get those little circular motions off of there. I don't mind the texture. I think it looks kind of cool. Now you notice I'm kind of just going around, pushing up away from, I'm not going back into, because I do have a lot of paint on my brush, because I'm trying to get a pretty good coverage here, which is something that I don't normally do. I don't normally worry about having a good coverage because I like it to look a little, not completely covered. I don't know how else to say it. But on this, I want this to be I want this to be solid. Okay. Now this is a brand new stencil brush and it's got some little flyaways. Usually when I get my new stencil brushes, I like to take my Masters. I take my Masters brush cleaner, and it also is a preserver and a conditioner for your brushes. And if I wash them real good with that, that helps with getting some of the extra bristles out. And it puts a little coating on your bristles, you know, to keep them nice. And I usually try to do that once a month or every couple months to all my brushes. So, hey, there's Alyssa. How are you, girl? How are you? All right, so let's see what we got here. Oh, I love it. Love it. Look at that. Look at that. That is so me with that 70s look, right? I love it. Love, love, love. Okay, I'm going to toss this in the trash can because I like to stick my hands in it. I'm like a bowl in a china shop. I'm like a bowl in a paint store. If there's paint somewhere, I'm going to have it on my body, in my hands, or somewhere I'm not supposed to have it. Now, here's the next thing. What in the devil have I done with my jute? Look, it goes here. It's gone and the scissors are gone. So I know it's together somewhere. So let's grab our little jute jar that I have down here that has all kinds of different size jute in here. I don't think I want to use the real thick. Let's see if we got a pretty long piece of it about this size. Oh, look at that. That's like the piece that keeps on giving, right? But I also have this off-white color. I think I want the brown. I think I want the brown. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, thank you. So, oh, we're all. You know, I mowed this morning. I got up early, not early, but I got up and mowed the yard before it got super duper hot out. And I'm going to tell you what, we live out in the county and the wind is always blowing. Always blowing. It was not blowing today. It was not blowing while it was winding today. Okay, all I'm going to do is I'm going to show you real quick because I've got 1 minute left. I'm going to wrap that around like that. And I may put like just a little baby bow right there with my jute. Okay, so we'll just pretend like that's what it's gonna look like. Okay, this won't be hanging down. Let's grab that and throw that there. So that's what our project's gonna be looking like. You guys, make sure you go up in my description. Make sure that you go check out Leah's page because she is our hostess with the mostest today, and make sure you check her out. Make sure you subscribe to her channel. Make sure you subscribe to everybody's channel in the playlist. Everything is getting shared over to the playlist. You can go click that link and you can just start watching everybody, or watch it tomorrow, or whatever. Make sure you hit the thumbs up for everybody and say hello. That's all that we ask of you. You guys have a great afternoon, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Ooh. It's been a minute since I've gone live on YouTube. I don't know if I remember how to stop. I figured it out.